2 hours of football chat from around the European leagues.
And Chelsea end the season with a barrage of goals as the final whistle is blown. Everything going Chelsea's way, 93 points.
Buying, selling, sacking, winning, losing.
Because Arsenal win the FA Cup for a 13th time, for a 7th time under Arsene Wenger, and they've beaten the champions to do it.
It's all here at 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock every Sunday night, the Euro Show on Rangers Radio.
Dani Alves is 7.
Welcome back, everybody. Boswell surprised me with that intro because I hadn't heard it before the show went live, so that was pretty good. Anyway, welcome. We are back. I bet you thought you'd gotten rid of us, but not quite. We're never going to go away. After a long-term hiatus, we are back with the Euro Show. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend Boswell. How are you, Boswell?
I'm fine and champion. I wasn't this time last week, so we had a bit of a false start last week.
Yeah,
so,
Boswell has passed his late fitness test, so he is raring to go.
But
Unlike Jordan Rossiter, it's not 7 to 10 days consistently for the course of an entire season. That 7 days was accurate.
No. It was. It certainly wasn't happening this time last week. I can absolutely categorically assure you.
Well, it's just as well. So off the back of our fine one today, we're back to talk Euro stuff now. For the explanation of those, because I realise there's a fair few new people to the platform since we were last on the air. So to kind of explain who we are and what hell we're actually doing here, we basically spent 2 hours talking about European football between the pair of us. The show originally started off a few years ago now.
2014.
2014, yeah. I think we started it maybe even at the Euros or the World Cup. Can't remember.
Yeah, it would have been 2014.
14 World
Euros.
Cup.
Yeah, World Cup. Yeah.
World
2014.
Cup, yeah.
Was it? Yeah, World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, World Cup. It was World Cup this year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So we started that. Originally started off by a former member of the platform, Dado, who unfortunately no longer with us, but we continue to carry on in his name, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago now. But we continue to bring the show to you with a bit of mirth, some comedy, the weekly 10-minute Boswell rant on just how bad Arsenal are, which will be supplemented by a 5-minute rant from me on how bad Chelsea are. And this year it seems, or every 2 years we'll get that. 1 year they're good and the other year they're bad. So first half of the show we're basically going to talk what's happened in Europe this week, which has included some very excellent displays from English sides for the first time in a good few years, really, in the cyclical nature of European football. And then second half of the year, we'll just kind of talk about what's happened while we've been away. Aubameyang and Lacazette and our Arsenal players, Giroud's playing for Chelsea, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria, all that good stuff. It'll be interesting. I know we'll probably have a good little chat on all that transfer business that went ahead just because Arsenal and Chelsea decided to play nice with each other for a change.
Can we just also say that welcome to the people on Facebook this evening, and I think we're also on YouTube. Not very interesting to watch, but let's hope very interesting to listen to.
Certainly. We're obviously on the platform as well, so if you're in the lobby, post us a message. I've got the lobby open in front of me, so I'm going to do my best to read the clean messages out as much as I can. Keep it sensible in there. So we should probably start off with last 16 of the Champions League then, Boswell. And we'll start with your second favourite team, Tottenham, who specialise in 2-2 draws this week, apparently.
Of course.
Yeah. 2-2 draw with the mighty Rochdale today. But
it was away from home.
Yeah, it was away from home. As was this one, which, I know you'll get into your Tottenham bashing maybe in a minute, but I think we would have to say a very creditable 2-2 draw away at Juve in midweek.
It would be churlish of me to say other than that. I thought, when I saw them go down 2-0, down 1-0 and 2-0 and 9, I thought, oh dear.
15 minutes,
Yeah, wheels could come off here. But they got the goal back just before half-time, and Buffon had a night off.
Yeah, Buffon didn't do well for either goal, to be fair. I think it was fair to say Tottenham were very much caught cold in the first 15 minutes. Higuain first goal probably was offside, but in the end, it was a quick free kick and he had nobody bloody near him when he put the ball past Lloris. Second goal was from the penalty spot. No, on you go if you want to make a point.
No. I was just going to say about Higuain is that this is the difference between a real striker and someone who plays at it, is that, it's not his business if he's offside. It's somebody else's business. He's just got to do his job and stick it away. And I thought it was actually a really good chance that he got.
No, it certainly was. Yeah, it was a good bit of movement, but you wonder who's supposed to be marking him at a set piece. You think the first person in that Juve team you would have Marcus Higuain.
Yeah. And then, of course, the penalty. I thought that was Davis. Ben Davis filled him at the edge of the box.
Yeah.
I just thought that was
a pen. Yeah.
Ben Davis is meant to be the upgrade to Kyle Walker, and I think Tottenham really seriously miss Kyle Walker. I really do.
Yeah, I think. I think Trippier's decent, but I think it'll be a couple of years before he's up at Walker level. And Aurier is just an accident win for Hartman.
You could see, because when they'd given away the penalty, it was he'd given away a penalty. Who was it, a couple of weeks ago? And I just thought, this is just madness. It's so easy that people go past them, and he's already made the decision to do something stupid. But Tottenham had shown great resilience. It has to be said.
Yeah.
I need to put aside all my nonsense and be honest about this.
Yeah.
I just thought Christensen is just an excellent player. There's no question about it. And that's a great free kick.
Oh, Eriksen, yeah.
Eriksen, sorry.
Yeah. Christian Eriksen, close enough. No, it has to be said. After going 2-0 down, they dug in. Buffon made the one decent save he made all night from Kane, but I think given Buffon's career, he can give him an off night. I
thought that was a good enough chance for Kane to have stuck away, because he puts anybody else, it's a goal, you see.
And straight.
I thought because he was on his own, I consider that to be at that level a free header.
Yeah, it was disappointing. Then this is how importantly games change on even little knife edges. Even this one. Juve then have a great counter-attack at 2-0 where they go up the other end of the pitch. Good play between Pjanic and Higuain. And Higuain manages to get it onto his left foot and hits a rasper of a shot that goes about a millimetre wide of the post.
That was just before half-time, wasn't it?
That was just before Kane made it 2-1. Yeah. And then you're thinking if that one goes in 3-0 down, that could it might not have been, but that could have been game over right there. And the heads drop. As it is, Tottenham then nicked the ball in the middle of the park. I can't remember who nicked it now, but might have been Dembele actually. And then
he was excellent for the whole night. He ran the game. It was excellent, really. I thought Tottenham's midfield. I think that's where the real stars are at Tottenham. They've got so many options. Dembele. Exactly.
Yeah.
Big Wanyama can't get a game in that team now.
Yeah, no, can't get a game apart from the FA Cup. And obviously Kane rounded Buffon, who came into no man's land, and made it 2-1 right on half-time. Huge goal for Tottenham. And then they just kind of grew in confidence from there. But even at that, that was right on half-time, and even after that, they still managed to give away a second penalty because Aurier dove in really stupidly, I think on Douglas Costa, I think it was. And then Higuain rattled the bar, which is probably still moving from the force that he had to that.
Would we say that Lloris got a touch on that, or did he push that onto the bar? I thought it could have been for that penalty save, but
yeah, it hit that fast. I don't think it would have mattered, to be honest. I think it was hitting the bar and coming back out anyway. But it was credit to Lloris because he stayed. He knew something was up. He stayed in the middle. He didn't dive.
So penalty though, just right down the middle and high. That's never where you put a penalty kick.
No.
Says me, the striking expert.
Yeah, but I know, especially since I know Lloris had got a touch to the first penalty, but he hit the first penalty well enough that you think just pick a side again and hit it well. But yeah, strange decision. Then quite a bit of a 50-50 second half. More of Tottenham grew into the game and I think started to take control of it more in the second half. And then Eriksen catches Buffon out with the free kick right in the edge of the box. Good free kick. Eriksen.
a goalkeeper like that to be beating his near post, I think it's a mark of Gianluigi Buffon being 807, though, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. I mean, too many keepers gamble.
It was a free kick, but Buffon really need to have a word with himself. Just shocking.
Aye, it was certainly a weird one. So yeah, I mean, good point for Tottenham. I think they'll be pretty happy to take that back to Wembley to be sure. I think they're probably favourites now to get through in that tie because I think the major problem was them getting goals. Juve hadn't conceded at home since I think November.
Yes, and of course, but they were minus a lot of players. They were minus Dybala was out, and
no Dybala.
Yeah,
and also I think Higuain picked up an injury today, which might put him out for 2 weeks. I don't know. It depends if they can actually get him fit enough to get him back for a couple of weeks' time. But he did pick up a knock today in the Turin derby.
1-0 does it for Juve. I'm sorry.
I mean, yes, that is true. That is the Italian result will do them. It's just, I think, as much as they were terrible last season at Wembley, they seem to have solved that problem very much in the last few months of not being able to win at Wembley. Because at the start of the season, they still had it as well. But they seem to have finally found a way of how to play there.
I was talking to a pal of mine during the week there, and they said the only way Tottenham were going to get to play at Wembley was to hire it. And of course, well, I mean, I think it's reasonable for me to say that Tottenham hadn't won anything of note in 20 years. I think it was 1998 when they won the League Cup, as it was back then. I think I might be wrong. It might have been 97. But and since then Arsenal have been majestic, except for the last 4 or 5 years.
Except for like the last 10 years.
Last 10 years, but what's 10 years between?
What's 10 years? What's 10 years to a manager?
Well, exactly. There's another.
More on that later. Spoilers. So yeah, good result for Tottenham.
I mean, I would agree with you. I think. Barring fire, flood, and natural disaster, I think
they should be through.
They should, and they deserve to be through to it because they've played great football.
I mean, the whole, even though the league form's not been the greatest, as we kind of discussed before we went live, the European form's been great. The 2 games against Madrid,
they're not beating mugs, have they? Really?
Not beaten easily beaten Dortmund twice. And won that group. I think the difference between them this season and last season, how much they've grown from that experience, really does, say how much of the Champions League is actually experience and not just turning up with the best set of players. It does need more than that.
And I think Poch has managed to do something about that.
They've done well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I cannot grudge them no matter how much they're trying. I think they've been excellent in the Champions League, and they've been well worth their position. And to be fair as well, they've actually done much better in the Champions League and beaten much better quality than Arsenal have in recent years.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair too. On to a team's return to the knockout stages for I think the first time since 08-09, which I was kind of surprised by when I heard it. I thought, has it really been that long? But Liverpool, who returned to the Champions League knockout stages with an absolutely merciless demolition of Porto. Jeez, this is one of those highlights games where you realise for the first 30 seconds you watched the highlight where Porto went close, and then for the rest of the game, rest of the highlights, for the rest of the 15 minutes, you were just watching Liverpool attack.
Score goals, yeah. Because,
goals.
You know, you're talking about that, and that first 5 minutes, I thought Porto looked as if they were well in the game and unlucky not to be in front.
Yeah, they played really well. That deflection for the one shot that went over the bar, that can go anywhere. Yeah. And then they make a bit of a defensive mistake and a goalkeeping mistake to contribute to Mane's goal, and then Liverpool just went through the gears and just moved away. Porto couldn't cope with their pressing, couldn't cope with their movement, couldn't cope with their passing. This is comparing simply because of the manager, but I think that's the closest I've seen them to Klopp's Dortmund since Klopp got there. In a European setting, it was just like watching Dortmund. They were just pressing. Porto could not get out of their own half. And that's not an exaggeration. They were getting up to the halfway line, and then they were getting pressed out the game. And they were just absolutely done in. Second goal, Milner hits the post. Salah does very well with the rebound.
We keep you up in.
Aye. And a lovely little finish over the defender covering the line. And Salah's been a revelation for them this year. We'll probably get onto that later in the Premier League roundup, but he's been magnificent signing for them.
Oh, I mean, well, we'll both remember him at Bâle and at Chelsea, and he never got a chance at Chelsea.
Never did, no.
No.
But, he needed to go somewhere to get games, and you can see
to find himself as a player.
In Roma, yeah,
excellent,
terrific. Then I think it was second half they went 3-0 up with a great counter-attacking move, where they went from one end of the pitch to the other, and Mane put it away after a rebound. They then steal the ball in the middle of the park for the fourth, and Milner eventually plays in Firmino for the goal, and then Mane gets his hat-trick from a quick throw that they won. It was I think it was the 85th minute, and you could just tell the ball went out of play. The Porto heads dropped, and immediately Liverpool were at it. It was a quick throw. Mane made a 1-2, I can't remember who with, and then shot from like 25 yards straight in the corner, and you're like, well, if it wasn't over at 4-0, it's over at 5. They could field their under-19 team, I think, next week and still, in a couple of weeks, and still get through. And then, was it
Firmino on the last goal?
Mane, because he got a hat-trick.
Yeah, 5, yeah.
It's 5, yeah. I think they've still got some questions defensively, obviously, because the league form certainly shows that if you can get out the back four. But I think when the pressing overtakes a game and the opposition can't cope with it like Porto couldn't, that front four, front five is, well, the front three now since they lost really Coutinho, but their forward players are devastating.
Of course, with the addition of Van Dijk, it's really helped him to have that, even at free kicks.
Yeah, it certainly
in the opposition box. Yeah, I think he'll come on to being a good defender because I think he proved he was an excellent player at Southampton, and he'll just come on and be better at a much higher level. But I think
certainly solid, yeah. There's still some work to do there, I think, because that
Lovren, I think,
still an issue. Still a problem. The keeping is still an issue. Although they seem to be going with Karius now over
Mignolet. Mignolet. I mean, bomb scare FC.
Mignolet would have good games, but you're just waiting for the mistake. It's going to come. It will come at some point.
And certainly at that level, you cannot afford that because there's players that will kill you in that league.
Yeah, in the Premier League and the Champions League. You saw, mistake for the first goal from the Porto keeper, and it just set a train in motion that Porto never got back in the game. It's it's a hell of a thing to watch, but it is kind of frightening that that's supposed to be like the last 16 in the Champions League, and a team's getting decimated that badly.
I think that's that, but is that not again up to the whatever Liverpool turn up, because Liverpool turns up and they could have been beaten 3-0.
Oh yeah, Liverpool still have that very bad performance.
They still have a doing in them to get a doing off a team like that.
It'll be interesting to see, because they'll obviously get through this, what they do with a higher powered team, Liverpool, because I think we know from the group stages, we know I don't think we've got any worries about Tottenham if they come up against, Real again, say, or another big team like a Paris Saint-Germain or a Bayern Munich. We would know what Tottenham will do. I'm not sold yet on Liverpool. I think they could turn up and give them a game, but if they turn up and produce one of their bad 90 minutes, then...
If they produce a Swansea performance...
Yeah, exactly.
A Wolves performance, who knows what happens there.
Yeah, then,
it's still within that team. And I think this is the thing about Klopp sometimes, is that when things go wrong like that, he doesn't know how to sort it.
Yeah, he's got one plan. When it works, as you saw in that game at Porto, it works very well.
Almost Warburton-esque,
Yeah,
if plan A works, if plan B doesn't even merit a mention.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's very true. So yeah, great performance from Liverpool. I think we'll gloss over the other English team that played this week kind of quickly because they decimated their opposition as well. Not quite as spectacularly as Liverpool, but Man City won 4-0 at Basel. And it's a similar thing. Basel started kind of brightly for the first 10-15 minutes, a bit like Porto did, and then Man City got a goal, and then it was a question kind of how many.
But of course, it's we're well recognising these facts is that it depends who you are, whether you get a penalty nowadays.
I thought that was it certainly seems.
Of course, it's. I'm sorry, but that to me was a penalty every day of the week because he was well inside the box, and was it Otamendi a penalty nowadays?
It was Otamendi, yeah.
Otamendi cleaned the ball out, but there was no attempt to the ball, and he body checked every day in the box, and that's a penalty. I'm sorry. He was well inside the box. And, you look at things like that, you think, well, we're meant to be having the best of referees in the Champions League, and here we end up with a... And he body checked in the box, and that's a penalty. They don't have VAR in the Champions League as yet. But that's the sort of thing that needs sorting out, because that was a penalty kick.
It was obviously a penalty, yeah. I don't know how it wasn't. I don't know what reasoning went through other than he maybe thought the guy dived, but then didn't book him either. Because
it was on. That was a penalty kick.
It was obviously a penalty. Yeah. I don't know how it wasn't. I don't know what reasoning went through other than he maybe thought the guy dived, but then didn't book him either. Which
it was on the same side as the assistant referee for that side, so he should have been up with play and said, no, that's a body check. But so there we are. It even happens in Champions League level where referees and officiators can't even get it right there. So we're not alone in Scotland.
No, very true. There's poor referees everywhere.
Yeah, there's incompetence everywhere you turn.
Pretty much. So yes, for the rest of them, Gundogan heads Man City in front from a Kevin De Bruyne corner where he gets across the front post. Terrific corner. Bernardo Silva gets a nice second. Little question mark in the keeper, but it does come from behind the defender, so hard to tell on that one, but still a good finish. And then two great goals from outside the box. Firstly from Aguero, wrong foot in the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And then Gundogan curled one in the top corner, I think very early in the second half, and that was game over pretty much.
And he can't get a game in the team normally.
And he can't get a game in the team, which is kind of extraordinary. Neither can Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva hardly plays either. And it's like, we'll just casually run them out there for a last 16 game in the Champions League. It's fine. And I will probably get on to a little bit more about this when we talk about the Premier League, but Kevin De Bruyne has just been kind of ridiculous this year. He's just... he was good last year, right? But this year he's gone up like 3 levels. And
he's a transfer bargain.
Yeah, well, in the scheme of things,
he's virtually how would I describe these things? T-money.
T-money, yeah. Anything under 50 million these days for a team like Man City is T-money, yeah. So he's just an extraordinary player and sees passes that other people don't see.
It's that ball that comes across.
I know,
and it takes out 4 players, and it's like you find the strikers then a 1-on-1 in the keeper, and he's got it's
nobody near him.
It's harder to miss than it is anything else.
No, he's had an extraordinary year. Aguero still scoring tons of goals as usual. Defensively, they've sorted out a little bit. They've got Company back now. We'll see how long that lasts, right enough. But hopefully, for his sake,
they brought in some decent players as well.
And Walker came in.
Yeah, exactly. So,
They got Mendy from Monaco, who unfortunately then went down with a cruciate ligament injury, unfortunately for him. They also got in Laporte from Bilbao in the winter window, which,
well, they've had to pay
words, cracking bit of business. He's a really good defender, and will replace Otamendi. Yeah, he'll replace Otamendi eventually. And John, well, if Company stays fit, John Stones is going to have to fight for his place against Laporte. I tell you, because I would put Laporte up there.
Yeah, see, this
very
is
much a Guardiola defender.
John Stones was brought there as almost the kind of shoe-in for the Company position, and it just hasn't worked for him because he's been too error-prone.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens, and of course he'll want to be playing so that he can get into the World Cup squad. So that will be very interesting to see how the John Stones position operates.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how it does going forward. I think, we would say that they've definitely improved in the attacking sense, and you can see Guardiola's influence on the team for certainty. Raheem Sterling is far better.
He's a player now.
Jesus is going to find.
Yes. And Aguero, well, what can you say about Aguero? He's still scoring goals for fun.
Aguero, yeah. It's befuddling to me that I understand, because Jesus fits the system more for Guardiola. He wants a mobile front man, doesn't necessarily like someone that stays between the posts. But I tell you what, if they ever think about getting rid of Aguero, I think they're crazy. Because that's going to come back and bite them. Yeah,
get him up to Ibrox.
Yeah, sure.
The thing is that I get all this thing about the fitting the system, but it's goals that win the games.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what Aguero. I mean, you know, we can say whatever we like about Aguero being a static player and all the rest of it, but he scores goals, and he's so consistently scoring goals that I've found it very difficult. I found it very strange to see how he could be consistently left out of the team when he does exactly what football needs you to do, and that's just convert chances, and he does it so adeptly.
No, definitely. I think they'll be crazy. I think they should really keep him there, because they always need two anyway. Even when you're putting one up front, you need two. I think it was a weird spell that when it was before the winter window, before he just got injured, he started about 7 or 8 games in a row, I think.
Yeah.
And Aguero wasn't getting a look in. And that was the weird one. It's like, I don't know, but it wouldn't be the first time Guardiola's frozen out a striker just because he didn't prefer him to someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's done it with people. He's done it with others before, so it wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world. So yeah, that game's over. There's no way Basel are coming back in that. Man City will be through at the quarterfinals.
They'll only add to that.
Probably only add to that. We probably want to get to the last one of the last 16 played this week, which was pretty much game of this midweek anyway.
Yeah.
Real Madrid versus PSG. Real Madrid end up winning 3-1, which I think on the basis of the season, do we class that as a surprise?
Well, Real Madrid are having an absolute stinker of the league.
Yeah, they are. That's what I'm saying. And in Europe, they won.
Yeah, and they've lost their group. Yeah, they came runner up in the Spurs group. So, yeah, I think the wheels have come off Real Madrid, and Zinedine Zidane will be looking behind them to see Brendan Rodgers taking his job. Let's say to you there was comedy in here.
No, yeah, definitely. No, I mean, before the game, I was thinking that, this is, if you're PSG, you're new kids on the block, relatively speaking. You're the guys that built the big money. This is the game where you got to put your mantle down, because last season at this stage, was it this stage or was it the quarters? No, it was last 16, I think. Yeah. They got embarrassed by Barcelona. There's no way they should have lost that game from 4-0, that tie from 4-0 up, and they somehow contrived to lose it. This is one, you're playing well, you're well in your league, you won your group, you've spent the money on your front line, you brought in Neymar, you brought in Mbappe. This is the game you got to go take it against the team that, well, they are European football almost, Real Madrid. And they certainly almost are the European Cup. It's like, go and show it. and actually Real started the better at home, which maybe you kind of expected. Areola makes a good save from Cristiano Ronaldo when he was through 1v1. PSG then put a lovely move together, involved all of their front three. Mbappe got away from a couple of people down the right, crossed in. Cavani had a nice flick. Neymar then flicked it back, and Rabiot then put away a tidy finish for 1-0. And then all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, hello. Clever little goal put together. This is what you should be doing. They give away a penalty right on half time, which for me was a pen. I don't know what you thought about it, Basil.
No.
Okay.
Because it touched his neck and pulled him back. No, I'm sorry. If that happens in a nightclub, you turn round and the guy gets a punch in the mouth because for touching you. So I'm sorry, but I think that, yeah, I suppose technically it's hands-on, but come on, he's meant to be a robust striker that is very strong and can resist a player trying to muscle him off the ball. And he went down as if he was shot by a sniper in the stand.
Yeah.
That to me is effectively cheating, and I think that should be eradicated for the game. See if the guy's going to come through him for the back and make a valid challenge, but it's just a bit late. I don't have a problem with that being a penalty kick, but I'm sorry. That was, for me, simulation and probably technically a penalty, but he really need to have a look at himself because his wife would have been more robust in that challenge, I would have thought.
There you go. So VAR shouldn't be used for some things, folks, as that's what it's basically, because we disagree on that. I'll take a lot of your points, Boswell, and I will agree with them. However, if you know what football's like these days as professional football, at least you should. If you're silly enough to put your hands on him,
he's going to go down.
When he's going in the box, he's going to go down. And this isn't the Scottish League. You can't basically get away with assault in the box, you know. It's the European Champions League. You know, you need a light breeze to push someone down. But yeah, Ronaldo put away the penny anyway for 1-1.
What he does, and it was a great penalty kick too, wasn't it?
It was a great penalty kick.
Just kind of wee lift up and just side foot.
Oh yeah, yeah. You actually managed to move the turf and pop the ball up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but worked out well.
Typical Ronnie.
Yeah, everything he touches. Then it's pretty even second half. Madrid probably slightly on top, and eventually they force away in front with 10 minutes to go. Again, Ronaldo with a really good finish.
Yeah.
With his knee, able to move himself into such a position as to push the ball towards goal. When they got in down the left and keeper palmed it out, and Ronaldo managed to change his body enough to get the ball into the net.
Pure goalkeeping at that level.
Yeah, he really got to.
Yeah, I mean, always the
punch
rule.
that out.
I'd always heard is that you push it away from where it came from, and he just pushed it right back into the middle of the box, which is mental. And but the thing about that is that it's not where Ronaldo finished; it's where he started. He started in the middle of the goals, and he stayed in the middle of the goals because he knew that was ultimately where that ball was coming from. But it was poor defending by PSG to let the player get round the back and make the ball into the middle. And then it was pinball after that because it could have gone anywhere, and it just hits Ronaldo in the knee, and you get Champions League goal 101.
Yeah, exactly. And credit as well to, I suppose, a bit of credit has to go to Zidane before this. Made the change, brought on Asensio, brought on Bale, who started the game on the bench, and just opened it up more. And it certainly seemed for that last 10 minutes, PSG were struggling to cope with the movement then up top of Madrid. They'd done a reasonably decent job beforehand when it was just Benzema and Isco and Ronaldo, because it was a lot more narrow. But when Bale came on and and Asensio came on the left-hand side to open it up, it certainly, PSG struggled to cope. And then 2-1 up, you're thinking, both teams would probably take that result. PSG have got an away goal. They've been beaten 2-1, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Madrid, after being given a scare, are winning the game. But no, Marcel decides he still doesn't want to play left back. He'd rather play left winger. Does a nice little 1-2 with Asensio down the left to open it up. Asensio then puts the ball back in. He gets a half volley, knocks it into the ground, takes a touch off a defender. Keeper doesn't do a great job, but it's deflected right in front of him, so I'll give him a bit of a pass on that. And it's 3-1, and all of a sudden it's a really good result for Real Madrid. And again, PSG haven't done the job that you would expect them to do.
I think that
with the reputation,
Real really find a way to win a game, don't they? You know, just
in the Champions League, yes.
Exactly. It's not, you know, it doesn't need to be pretty. It doesn't need to be desperately attractive. It's a thing. You just say you go there, you win, and you give yourself a chance to go to the Parc des Princes in a fortnight's time, and finish it. But I don't know, because I think there's a lot of football to be played here, because I think that PSG really need to step it up.
Yeah.
Because I thought, but whilst they looked all right, they need to look, you know, who was it? We were talking about this. Walter brings in Kevin Thompson when he's just signed for Rangers, and how do you think you're doing, son? I'm doing all right. He says, no. It's not as simple as that. If you're at Rangers, you need to do more than all right. And I think this is the thing with PSG, is that all right is just not good enough. Not now.
No, aye. I mean, in a way, both managers are playing for their jobs.
Yeah, Emery in particular.
Emery's gone.
Yeah.
I think if Madrid, given how badly it's gone in the league for Madrid, I think if they don't at least get to the final, I think Zidane's gone as well.
Yeah, and that's a shame, but of course this season,
high standards.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you know, it's how many times? Who was it? Chelsea. Was it Di Matteo won the Champions League and Chelsea sack him
in less than 6 months?
Yeah, and you know, Man United won the FA Cup, and suddenly
Madrid have got history. Del Bosque was the same.
Yeah, so
won the Champions League, didn't the next year got the sack?
Yeah, got the sack. Yeah.
Weird.
It's Madrid. Well, it is, exactly. It's a different world, and but I think Emery, that's probably you're right. Winning the French league is just not a prerequisite anymore. It's one of these things you do on the way to doing the Champions League, because of the level of investment in that club now. It's just serious. And so Champions League will do and nothing else.
Yeah.
And I think some stuff, you know, I looked at this through the week there when we were looking at all these games, and I thought, you know, it just shows you that today we've had the FA Cup today, and we've had Tottenham Tea Ladies get a 2-2 draw and you've got Arsenal going out in the first round to Nottingham Forest, and I think, you know,
not Forest.
Well, exactly. And there's nothing that's sacred anymore. It's either the league, so it's all money driven now. It's either people surviving in the league, or, you know, there's always, the only thing that seems to be having any worth now is the Champions League and the English Premier League, or their own particular league, and nothing else matters now. So I watched QPR last night on the telly. The place is empty.
Yeah, no.
It was absolutely empty. And I've become really disturbed by things like that. Where
it's not just that, look at the FA Cup attendances this weekend, with the exception of Rochdale.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there needs to be something seriously done, because I don't think this can continue. It can be allowed to continue. And I think one of the things I was saying last year about this was that, you know, clubs have got a Champions League squad, and then they've got a league squad. And I don't know, at some point, you know, you'll I don't know. I become really quite despondent about where the priorities are in football now. And it is quite disturbing, because you can see a great game being destroyed because there's too much money in it. And who would have ever thought that's the case?
No, true enough.
There's a mini rant for you.
Prerequisite coming. So yeah, that's an interesting tie. I think it's very much in the balance. I'd still give the edge to Madrid, given the first leg and given PSG's flakiness in their past of not getting the job done.
They had no Rabiot today and no Kylian Mbappe, but they still managed to win.
Yeah,
5-2. Yeah, exactly.
Not surprised about that.
They were at home, but minus a lot of players.
A couple of players, yeah. Dear. And I'm trying to remember if Madrid have played this weekend. I don't think they have.
Yes, I think they. Yes, I think they have. They played today. Let me see.
The 2-1 down at half time to Real Betis. That's what it is. Yeah. Well, just about sums up the league form for most of the year, to be honest.
I mean, what's it? Something, is it 16 or 17 points behind Barca?
It's currently 20.
I mean, that's unacceptable.
If they don't win today, it's still 20. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're fourth. Yeah, I mean they've been rubbish this season. The champion, and I'm not kidding when I say the Champions League is the only thing keeping Zidane in the job. If Zidane was pretty much almost anybody else except Zinedine Zidane, he would have been gone
now. He would have
been gone. But he's got some credit in the bank, and he's using all of it right now. I don't know, and it'll probably be gone if they're out the Champions League. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know, but would they wait to the summer or would they just say season's written off?
I think it would depend if they've got anybody there. They think they can take it till the end of the year. If not, they'd probably give them to the summer and then cut. I mean, the only reason they got rid of Rafa when they did was because Zidane was there, and it was earlier than they wanted to do it. But they could bring Zidane in and make him take over. I don't think there's anybody like that there at the moment. No,
I remember us talking about that, and because he was third team coach, Zidane,
C team,
yeah. And when he was moved up. But I think it's still important that they make that fourth position for the Champions League.
Oh, vital.
So I think maybe he will stay to the end of the season and he'll be told, this is it, lights out for you, but, we need that fourth position. So they've really got to keep him on side, haven't they? Unless, unless there's someone there.
Yeah, I don't think there is though. So it'll be an interesting one. I think they should if they're a different animal in the Champions League. If their record has taught us anything, you're not going to, as they showed in midweek, you're not going to get away with not playing well to put them out. You got to play well to put Madrid out of the Champions League because they just take it that much more seriously than anything else that they do.
Their competition,
even the league, yeah.
I mean, they invented it. So it's theirs. And they'll just take it away just as easy, yeah.
How they treat it.
Was it 12-time winner, something like that, yeah?
I think it's 12 now, yeah. It's 11 or 12, certainly. I think it's 12. I think you're right. Anyway, we'll do a quick 5, since it's 5 minutes on prediction, since there's 4 games in midweek, before we go and cover the Europa League quickly. First up on Tuesday, Bayern Munich at home to Besiktas. Even though Besiktas have played incredibly well in the group stages, first Turkish team ever to win a group of the Champions League, and played very well, I don't think they're getting past Bayern.
No. Lewandowski scored 90th minute again yesterday, so he's still on it. I'm sorry. They're still, it's still binoculars to see who's to see who's in second place. Yeah, so. I can't see past Bayern at all. Absolutely not. And they're the same. Their history, their pedigree in the tournament puts them through for me as well.
Yeah. Another one Tuesday, which I'll leave till last because it's probably the most interesting one to talk about. Sevilla versus Man United on Wednesday. First leg in Sevilla.
There's a lot of unrest there. I mean, apparently I heard last night that, Paul Pogba's not a happy man, and there's a lot of unrest there. And of course, I just, I know a lot of Man United fans, and I think it's very much that no one likes Mourinho as their manager. There's a shocker.
There's a shocker.
But I don't know. I really don't know, because I think this might be the first real serious test they've had in the competition. But they should have enough to get by.
They should have enough to get by.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think. I think it will probably take them both games. It will take them to the Old Trafford game to finish it off. But I think they beat Sevilla over 2 legs.
I mean, don't forget as well, Sevilla played Leicester last year, and they were all right. But Leicester were good against them.
Yeah, so, Leicester won the game at home.
Yeah, exactly, and
very nearly got a point away.
Yeah, so I don't know. Man United should have enough skill and guile and good players to win that game. I would think. I would be shocked if they didn't get through the tie.
Yeah, I mean, I would be inclined to agree. Next one on the Wednesday, interesting, intriguing little one: Shakhtar Donetsk versus Roma.
Roma win again this weekend. Shakhtar, I don't know. That's where is the first one? Is it at
Roma? First one's in Shakhtar.
Oh,
well, it'll be in Kiev.
yeah. Don't know. It's a fair distance to go again, and I don't know. That's
again Shakhtar again in the last 16 of the Champions League. Always seem to get there.
So, but exactly, because they're just, I don't know, they're just such.
And they beat Napoli in that group with Man City. That was not a gimme.
They've always got good players, Shakhtar. They really have. They've become a Champions League staple over the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, always in last 16 usually. Yeah. It's very unusual if you don't make the last 16.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Roma are playing well in Serie A at the moment.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Still got Dzeko, yeah.
Edin Dzeko's there.
I'm inclined to think Roma, given 2 legs, will probably just have enough to see off Shakhtar, but I don't think that's a gimme at all.
That's touch and go.
It's very touching. It depends on the first leg. If Roma get a decent result, I think they'll be fine. Yeah. If they're 2-0 down or something coming home, then I think it could be a bit of a struggle for them. Again, kind of depends on the Roma. Roma had a pretty good group stage as well. They won their group, beat Chelsea. So I think they should be all right. But I think a lot depends on the first leg, which should be fun. And then the one which I'm not really looking that much forward to, Chelsea versus Barca.
Depends what Chelsea turn up, doesn't it?
That is so true. But I think if you
because you know what Barca will turn up.
I think if you don't get your money on Barca, you're crazy.
I don't know, because you see,
Chelsea got the performance in them. I
definitely
give you
have.
that.
But you see, Chelsea have got players like Willian, who I think has just been devastating this season. I think he's an excellent player.
Yeah, Willian and Hazard and Fabregas and all the quality players decide to come up.
Morata for me has been a big disappointment this season because
he's been very hit and miss.
Yeah, I mean we'll come on to that because that was a transfer in the second half. But yeah, really disappointed for me this season that he hasn't scored the type of goals. But they've got players in that team in Chelsea that could win the tie. But of course, you've got the dynamic duo up front for Barca. No longer the Holy Trinity, but you've got the dynamic duo.
Still quite good.
But yeah, still a not bad strike force, and that's another binoculars job in Spain to see who's
that league's over. Yeah,
that's funny. But of course they scored again yesterday against Elba, but apparently they really struggled. Because Elba played really well, they played a high.
Yeah, they did quite well, Eibar, for quite a long period of that game. But yeah,
Suarez again, and then I think it was Messi that scored near the end. But I noticed in that game is that they were getting all quite low marks. Player ratings was all really low, and the Elba team were getting 7s and 8s. So must have been playing quite well. It went from
expectation.
Well, yeah, I suppose you're right. But no, I would agree with you. I think Barca are going to win that at home, and Chelsea might scrape a draw at home. But Barca over the 2 legs, I would think. For current form and all the rest of it, I think they're probably too strong for Chelsea.
Yeah, interesting. Just an interesting side note, obviously, given the recent transfer of Coutinho not eligible for the game.
No.
Having played for Liverpool, so Coutinho not eligible, but just means they can play him in the league before. It just means they can play him in the league and play Suarez and Messi. So it's not. I mean, Chelsea's defence has been kind of ropey quite a lot this year, so I've got my worries about that. From a Chelsea point of view,
you can see Gary Cahill's not on it the way he was.
Starting to go down the hill rather than up it.
David Luiz is not the player, but of course that's always been
coming. Yeah,
that's always been a theme tune on here, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think they've settled on a couple better defenders, but might get to that later on. So that was pretty good. I suppose we should quickly, as much as we can before our halftime tune, talk about the Europa League, and there's only one place to start, and you should probably take it away with the Arsenal.
Oh, I thought we made heavy weather of this. This is one of the stats that comes out of this that made me laugh is that I can't remember the name of this team either. Is it? But apparently, Buster says that Arsene Wenger's tenure at Arsenal has been longer than they've been in existence.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's one I didn't pick up.
Yeah, so they've been in existence since 1996, but it's this chap Potter who's got them playing some decent football.
Really good, yeah.
They tried to play football against Arsenal, but
that didn't work.
It did work.
I could have told them not to do that.
Yeah, they tried, but the thing is, I always love a trier, and I thought they were the goalkeeper for me let them down badly.
Yeah,
because there was a couple of things that we were saying against the PSG keeper. You push it back out into traffic, and the only thing you're going to get back is nonsense. And I just thought Arsenal looked to do just enough. Own goal was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Emmett Ozil kind of turned up, which is a bit unusual in Europe.
Most unusual.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think Arsenal were just they just did enough. It wasn't spectacular, and against a better side, I think Arsenal would have really struggled.
It wouldn't have been enough. Yeah, I think credit for that. Östersson's to get this far has been kind of remarkable. And a model that, just because you haven't got a lot of money doesn't mean you can't be successful in Europe. Because they certainly do not have a lot of money, as you can tell by their stadium. But, in a group that they only finished, I think, behind Bilbao in goal difference or head-to-head record or something in the Europa League group. So, I mean, took 11 points out of 18. So they've
that level,
Hertha and Galatasaray at home this season. So
no, but I mean, what they'll do is they'll come to the Emirates. They'll come to the Emirates in a couple of weeks, and it'll be the iPhones out taking the photographs and the jersey swapped at the end and all the rest of it. So
I think that was the overriding thing I got. They showed Arsenal way too much respect for the first half an hour of the game,
and then it was too late.
It was too late. Yeah.
And I think that this Arsenal side for me are there for the taking. The only kind of minor positive I take is I thought Maitland-Niles had quite an effective game. I thought he played not bad. Yeah, he looks not bad. I don't know if he's going to make it as a regular Arsenal, but I thought he was not too bad.
Well, he's English, so probably not.
Yeah, but they won't be given the chance, will they?
No.
we can't be having English players at Arsenal.
We can't be having English people develop at Arsenal. That's not what we do.
No, exactly. But no, they'll come to the Emirates and they'll do well, and Arsenal will probably win 2-0.
Yeah, no, it will be it.
Remember, I said that for your accumulator.
Yeah. I think. Well, from your point of view, you're obviously more close to the club than I am. From watching the news and that. Is there a sense that since this is pretty much their, well, I wouldn't say their easiest, but it's the most likely route to get back in the Champions League, that they're going to take it more seriously now?
There's been talk about this, but of course, you see, that top 5, top 7, if you like, has been kind of quite fluid. You can get a flaky Liverpool, a flaky Chelsea. Man United haven't been completely on it. Lost at Newcastle the other week there, but Arsenal haven't been on it either.
No. So and Arsenal need more than one team to come back to them as well, which is the big problem.
Exactly. See, if Arsenal do their job, they go to Swansea, they win, and then there's some kind of roll. But it's just not happening. And I think that there's more than one thing at play in the club. The support are kind of cohesive-ish, if I can use that word. But a lot of the fans are Europa League's the only possible chance. But even then, I still think there's lots better teams in the Europa League than Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, this year is a pretty stacked version of the Europa League when you've got Atletico Madrid in there, Lyon are in there, Red Bull Salzburg will probably put out Napoli in there, and they're a very decent team. Dortmund are in there. AC Milan are playing better than they have been the past few years as well. There's enough decent sides in there, as well as some others. So
too many good sides.
No, it wasn't what it was for Man U last year, where I think Man U were the clear and obvious favourites if they took it seriously. I don't think Arsenal will have it quite that easy.
No, I think that once Arsenal meet a half-decent side and then try and... this is the issue, is that Lacazette's injured just now. We know Aubameyang's cup tied.
Cup tied, yeah.
And so I think that's a real issue as well, because we don't have Giroud. And so I mean, how ridiculous,
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
they told me 6 months ago Giroud was playing for Chelsea. They called you insane.
Sorry, did I just say Arsenal will miss Giroud?
Yeah.
You see, you find yourself saying things that under normal circumstances would have been described as almost certifiable.
Yeah.
So yeah, Arsenal will miss Giroud because they don't have that presence. They might play big Lacazette up there, but
different type of striker.
Yeah, exactly, and it means Arsenal play in a different way as well. So for me,
it's what really confused me about their transfer business. But I'll get onto that in a second.
No, exactly. But yeah, that's how it is. I think that it seems to be what the groundswell of support believe, that it's Arsenal's only way. But just because it's the only way, it doesn't mean to say it is the way.
Yeah, it's going to work out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty near the top of the hour now, so I suppose we should probably go, and then we can spend a quick 5 minutes going over a couple of the other more interesting results from the Europa League before we head into Premier League chat mainly.
What happened?
Yeah, what happened? Chin's got something to do with it, provided we've got the right one lined up. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes, and we'll ask the tech crew now if they wouldn't mind playing our halftime tune, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. There we go. Oh, I can hear myself. There we go. Topical tune.
Indeed.
For the explanation before we go back into the Europa League, if you haven't heard it for some reason, if you've been on Mars, what are they calling them? The Cab Four, isn't it? Bozzle?
I'm going to have to. Yeah, I think I'm.
All right, you're very dodgy. Anyway,
I'll be back in a minute.
No bother. I'll explain to the good fellows about the Cab Four. So why that tune? Well, basically the Cab Fours have been known at West Brom. Decided it would be a very good thing on the break they got because of the FA Cup to steal a cab in Barcelona, I think it was. And what's even more weird about this experience is that it's four of the more experienced players in the West Brom squad, which seems to make no sense. With Gareth Barry, Johnny Evans, who's obviously been linked for transfers, Jake Livermore, and Bo Ismail, who decided that nicking a cab would be a fine idea on your day off. And yeah, they're in trouble with it. And to say Pardew wasn't happy with it, I think would be an underestimation. I mean, you expect some of these things to happen, but when it's four of your more seasoned professionals, I think you've got more than every right to go and throw your hands up and say what exactly is going on here. When it's four kids, okay, kids do stupid things, but it's supposedly four of your more experienced players, which is just weird.
Mind you, it has to be said, did Jimmy Johnson, at the age of 32, not go out into the estuary of the Clyde in a rowing boat?
Well, I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Yeah, it was before the 1974 World Cup. Scotland, seasoned Scotland professionals stole a rowing boat, and Johnson was almost marooned in the middle of the Clyde.
Oh, dear.
So I suppose it's just one of the sort of stupid things that footballers do.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. They're very daft people. But anyway, we might come on more to that, especially around talking about West Brom, because I think it kind of shows why that club's in a bit of a mess at the moment.
Oh, yeah. It's an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah. One thing I want to say before leaving the Östersund versus Arsenal game, that's a proper artificial pitch, by the way.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Why are our artificial services in Scotland honkingly bad?
Do you know,
between Kilmarnock and Hamilton, I've played on better pitches than that, and like on a for a sports centre like at Torrey Glen, it's got a way better pitch than that.
There was a lot of public money put into Scandinavian football, maybe about 25 years ago, where they were given communities facilities, and of course let's make no bones about it, the taxation system and the distribution of wealth within these countries is much, much better than it is in the UK. And so they can afford to do these kind of projects. But this is why there has been great strides forward in teams like Denmark, Sweden, Finland, and Norway come through onto the major world stage, because there was proper we're always talking in this country and in Scotland about grassroots football, but no one ever wants to make proper provision for investment in it. But the Scandinavians did, and of course they reap the benefit of being in World Cups countless times. And of course, small teams like this can afford a top class surface like that and do well in Europe under quite straitened financial circumstances. So I think that's why is that there's been good public investment in those facilities.
Some lesson to be taken there for sure,
I would say.
Anyway, a couple of the other games to touch on before we move into a bit of Premier League chat. I did mention Napoli, Red Bull Leipzig earlier. Red Bull Leipzig with a very, very good 3-1 away win at Napoli. I think taking the league ultra seriously is kind of showing on Napoli, because the European form this season has not been good. Got knocked out obviously in Man City's group by Shakhtar, and Timo Werner getting a couple of goals here for Red Bull Leipzig, who are going to be one of those teams that are definitely a threat to Arsenal.
Yes, I would think so. And of course they've still got Naby Keita there too.
Yes, for at least till the end of the season, before he goes to Liverpool. Yeah.
So, but that transfer seems to have been happening for the last 5 years.
I know, it's very weird, isn't it? Yeah. Then they tried to get him in January, but Leipzig said no, rightly so. They've got their good amount of money.
Napoli doing well in the Serie A at the moment, top of the league at the moment. I think
it is. They're just ahead of Juve, but I think it's kind of taking all the priorities because they've got a shot here to take it off Juve. And it's not going to be easy. Juve have won it. I can't remember. I think it's about 5 or 6 in the trot now.
Of course, that's the when they come through. After that, they were demoted as well.
Yeah, and Napoli have actually got a real shot to win it this year. And bear in mind, for those, Napoli haven't won it since the Diego Maradona was in town.
1982, 83, I think.
It would be about right. I can't say for certain, but that would be in the right ballpark. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, it's
hard for me to be an analyst on this show.
No, I mean, it's not what we are at all.
Exactly.
No, should have thought. A few for the French footballers. Well, you particularly touch on French football, but due to one of your other teams. Good win for Lyon at home to Villarreal, 3-1 over Villarreal.
Left it late too. Left it late,
yeah. Cracking goal by Memphis Depay, the third one. Bloody hell. Never did that at Man United.
I don't think he even came close to doing that at Man United. But yeah, they're probably through in that tie, I would think.
Yeah. Fekir, another one of those players to watch, I think, might be the next one to go from Lyon.
Possibly, because he was good last season. He was good last season when they were scoring those goals with Lacazette in the team. Fekir, because I think he's another Arabian player, isn't he?
Yeah, probably Algeria, I'm guessing, maybe French Algerian, something like that.
Yeah, so I think you're probably right. He's the next one to go. But
the next one off the production line.
Yeah, I mean, they're not doing particularly well. I think they're 4th, 5th in the Championnat this season.
Yeah.
But and we're always saying about Olympique Lyonnais on here is that they pick players from their locale and from so it's they'll never go and spend massive amounts of money, and that money, the 65 million they got off Arsenal for Lacazette, would just be reinvested in the club again. There's no way they're going to go out and spend an absolute tank on anybody.
No way.
Not what they do.
Another one, Marseille, very decent 3-0 home win over Braga. That they probably got that one sewn up in the first leg.
Tovan getting the last goal there, and it just looked too
talking
easy.
To people who didn't turn up in England. There's another one. Newcastle.
Who was the other one? The guy they got from West Ham looked quite good too.
Payet.
Dimitri Payet. Yeah. Looked quite good.
Payet's a quality player. It went very sour at West Ham there at the end. For whatever reasons.
I felt that we had a kind of revisitation of that with the Mahrez situation over the transfer window there. Could have gone the same way.
Definitely.
But thankfully, Riyad Mahrez is a much more reasonable individual than Dimitri.
Just a little bit. It seems that way anyway. And then shock defeat from Nice because they were 2-0 up, 2 goals from Mario Balotelli. Yes, he's still there. And then proceeded to concede 3 goals to Lokomotiv Moscow because presumably the Lokomotiv Moscow had thawed out just before half-time.
They got the blowers on the hairdryer on them.
Completely turned the game around with Manuel Fernandes hat-trick.
Battered them. They absolutely battered them because
them in the second half.
The quality of the goals were absolutely superb. And
good player, Manuel Fernandes. He's a really deep, tidy player.
Well, yeah, again, it's these Russians pick up these players and then they'll play them in these competitions and look really good.
Yeah, indeed. Other ones, Atletico Madrid, one of those sneaky teams that dropped out the Champions League that you wouldn't think would be in Europa League, but they're there, and that's I would suggest they're probably the favourites if they take it seriously, and chances are they will, because they have the advantage of being second in La Liga, but not catching Barcelona is not going to happen. So,
but winning the trophy, and I noticed that the top man scored again. I don't have it in front of me. Yeah. Griezmann scored again later on.
Griezmann and Guerrero got a goal as well. Yeah,
but and there's the other kind of imponderable that we've always been talking about on here. What happens to Simeone at the end of this season?
Yeah, that's still a major question. I don't know. Anyone's guess is as good as ours. I don't think even he knows what he's going to do.
Yeah, exactly. But it'd be interesting to see where he goes now, because I think if he wins the Europa League, which is eminently possible,
very possible, yeah.
You know, he could play of his pick.
I mean, he probably could, yeah. The question would be, what's one available, and then two, who would not be available but willing to move on their manager for Simeone if they thought they could get him?
Yeah, because
pretty long list, probably.
Well, exactly, because I think that, you know, he's operated at a very, high and intensive level for the last maybe 5-6 years, and I think
exactly.
He's lost out to top end teams. You know, it's not as if he's gone out to Ulcerans. He's actually lost very narrowly to the top draw.
Oh yeah. I mean, Real Madrid twice in Champions League final.
Exactly, you know, and it was like minutes to go.
Yeah.
You know, so he's not as if he's got a pace. Absolutely not. No.
No, definitely not.
No, so
I think the sneaky one to keep an eye on is somewhere in Italy, because he obviously did play in Italy for part of his career, and as has been widely documented, he's not got a hell of a lot of English. Not that it's been a barrier. Look at what Pochettino did with that eventually, but I don't know how much of a move he would want to make. I don't know who it. Oh dear! Wow, that's harsh.
Sam Allardyce, come on.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he's for the black country.
For various interpretations of English.
Absolutely, yeah. He's for the black. He's for Starbridge, old Uncle Sam.
Yeah, exactly. Another sneaky team for the Europa League. Atletico Bilbao won 3-1 at Spartak Moscow. Adaric got two, who he basically loves this competition. He scores a ton of goals in it every year. For Bilbao, they'll be a dangerous team, always are. And then game of the round, the other piece in the whole Giroud and Aubameyang transfer saga, Michy Batshuayi getting two for Dortmund as they came from behind to beat Atalanta 3-2 at home.
Great goals too.
They were really good goals from Batshuayi, yeah.
Because it was
confidence, isn't it? Confidence.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I remember we were doing the Euros here when he played for Belgium, and we said he's going to Chelsea from Marseille.
Yeah, we knew that was happening at the time.
And we thought, well, is he a decent player? And we thought, yeah, he'll be all right, but you know, he's not going to really punch his weight at Chelsea. We were right about that.
Yeah.
But I think once you send him somewhere where he's got to make a mark, and they'll actually play him in a position,
and they're going to play him, yeah.
But mind you, it has to be said that when Chelsea played him as a striker, he scored goals for them.
He did. And I think the thing was, it is when they did, well, it was at the time it was Costa, but when they didn't always have Costa, they didn't always play Batshuayi when Costa wasn't available. They sometimes went to Hazard instead and played like a different front three that was interchangeable. So I think he probably just ran out of patience in the end. I think it was good for him to move on. I think it was probably, I think it was probably in the end it's ended up being good for Chelsea, but I'll touch on that in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, that tie is going to end up in one really good team going out. Atalanta are really impressed this year in the Europa League. I enjoyed watching them when they played Everton twice. I thought they looked a really decent side. Put Everton to the sword twice, very, quite convincing.
Yeah, but I certainly think that the bringing in a Batshuayi for Dortmund has really, I mean,
good bit of business, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because they played him beside Marco Reus up front, and the two of them looked really good.
No, they got a talented. They're starting to get some momentum back at Dortmund. They might not ever get to the Klopp level days again, but they're back to a very decent side. If they can get Royce fit, they've got Pulisic and Götze there as well, obviously.
Because they papped Thomas Tuchel. He was out the door last season.
They got in Thomas Tuchel, got in the guy from Ajax, Peter something Boas, something like that, and then sacked him, and got someone else in. It's been a bit of a up and down year, but they still might finish second because Germany's a bit like that. Where it's Dortmund and then basically everybody else. Not Dortmund, Bayern Munich, and then everybody else after a big gap. So that's really kind of what the mainstays did, I suppose.
No, there's another thing I just wanted, but
Sure.
I don't want to dwell on it.
No, sure.
Filth.
If we must, I suppose.
It's my feeling that they had a real good chance there, because I've never seen a club come so meekly to a tie as I did Zenit. I felt they were just so far away from even being halfway fit.
I knew it when the draw came out. Zenit's got history for this. Zenit has come so slowly out the blocks after a winter break. They always have done. They almost always get packed out in the last 16 and the last 32 of Europa League or the Champions League, because they just come so slowly out the gates after their winter break. I mean, you can see it all. I mean, except for Lokomotiv's great comeback at Nice, all the Russian teams lost.
Slow, And I watched the highlights of this just to see, and a half decent side would have battered them, absolutely battered them. So I actually think they've given themselves a chance at home.
Aye, for being 1-0 down, yeah.
1-0
expect Zenit to actually turn up, then they should turn that around.
Exactly, but a half decent side would have absolutely melted them, because I didn't think the Filth looked all that good at all. Well,
You're not gonna, are you?
no, exactly, exactly. But you know what I mean. But I think it's something we've got to discuss, and I think that Zenit just looked so far away from it. Far away.
Again,
Anywho,
we'll see how they do with a couple of games under the belt after the next leg comes around.
I don't think they start their league again until the first round, the first Saturday in March. Yeah. So
maybe
they don't have any
under the belt. It'll be better.
Yeah, well, let's hope so.
Yeah, can be much worse, that's for sure. So we should move on to Premier League and kind of talk about everything that's gone on. Firstly, I looked this up beforehand, so I'm going to ask Boswell a question here and see if he can get it right. 20 Premier League teams, Boswell. How many have changed their manager so far this season?
Right. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm going to say 11.
Oh, no, 7.
No, well, I've only 4 out.
You went a bit heavy.
Yeah. Well, what we're looking at, Swansea.
Yeah, in date order, Frank de Boer, who is hired and sacked since we were last on the air, that was replaced by Roy.
He'd gone before the clocks had changed.
Yes, he did. Yeah, 4 league games, I think it was.
That was terrible.
Koeman got binned at Everton, replaced by Allardyce. Bilic got binned at West Ham, replaced by Moyes. Tony Pulis went from West Brom, replaced by Alan Pardew. Paul Clement got sacked by Swansea, replaced by Carlos Carvajal, who had been sacked by Sheffield Wednesday. That was a really interesting move. That's worked out well for him, I tell you. Hughes got sacked at Stoke to be replaced by Mr. Personality Paul Lambert. And Marco Silva got binned at Watford eventually and replaced by Javi Garcia, but it's Watford, so it's made absolutely no difference to what Watford do. They might as well just have an invisible shape that is their manager, and they would still produce exactly the same performances.
Can't cut out the dugout, I think, empty seat as the manager.
Yeah, exactly.
We were talking about this beforehand, and just that there's this model where you think, well, all those teams are doing, let's say, Swansea, West Ham potentially come into this too, are just, it's fear and terrification that puts them to the point where they think, let's sack Paul Clement. Paul Clement came in, what was he there for, about a year? Maybe either more than a year or shorter than,
yeah.
And because he replaced Guidolin. Bob Bradley, because Bob Bradley was that was just a catalogue of disaster.
Yes, Bob Bradley replaced Guido and he replaced Bob Bradley, that's right.
It's difficult to get the timeline right at Swansea because there's so many changes. But I don't know if we'd gone through the same kind of situation scenario this time last year. We have 3 managers in the space of as many months, and it's so bad for morale at the club and the support, and no one can really see a way forward. And I think the Swansea situation, I think the Swansea situation in particular was back to Gary Monk being sacked without reasonable ground.
I think even almost beyond that, it goes to change in ownership.
Yes, from the fans to the Americans. Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Because I think it was fans and a family, and they had a philosophy because they appointed the same type of manager all the time because they went from, was it Rodgers to Martinez or Martinez to Rodgers, and then they went to Monk, trying to keep a similar style, always trying to play the similar style. And then there was that massive change where they went to Guido, and you're like, what the hell is going on here? And then they went to Bob Bradley, and you're even more confused. And then they went to Clement.
He came from Strasbourg and Champion Bay. You think Champion Bay to the English Premier League and a survival dogfight? You know, come on. It's just that
not ideal.
No, it was stupid. But of course, this is what rewarding failure does for you. Because that's effectively what's going on here, is that teams like Swansea are staying in the Premier League more by luck than good judgment, because you can quite clearly see there's no good judgment here. But the type of appointments and the type of players that they brought in as well. You know, you can see that. You know, they brought in Llorente. Does he look like a Swansea player? Come on. You know, I thought, interesting player, but, you know, Swansea got there through playing football.
Tidy football, yeah.
And I just, I saw lots of players going there, and I mean, they still
didn't really work.
No, exactly. And I think it's the same this season. And so if they can change whoever I mean, Carvajal will go in there.
To be fair, he's given them a boost. He has.
Yeah, but it's dead cat bounce, I think.
Possibly.
Because,
that's always possible.
As we were saying there, he gets sacked for Sheffield Wednesday. But the thing about Sheffield Wednesday is that club were going through horrendous injury problems. But having said that, he failed over a 3-year period at Sheffield Wednesday. And there was investment every year.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to do much in the Championship to lose your job, especially with his investment. I mean, he did get. It's worth saying when he was at Wednesday, he got them into the playoffs twice.
Yeah.
But the playoffs are always a bit of a
Yeah, they failed at the first time of asking. They never get past the first qualifying round.
Yeah.
But I think maybe they were always getting through on the 7th position, and when you're 7th position, I think, you know, it's always touch and go.
Yeah.
And Sheffield Wednesday are that kind of club. You know,
you're not going to expect them to automatically come up. They're not one of the ones you automatically think of in the Championship, and they're like, oh, they should come up.
They're a big club, but there was a lot of reluctance to spend big bucks there because it was Sheffield Wednesday, and Sheffield Wednesday they've never been a club that would do things like that.
No, they're not. They haven't been. That's true.
And so Carvajal, and you know, I mean, it's going to happen the same this season. I would think they'll get 7th position or 8th position. They'll be there or thereabouts, but it'll be as you were. And I think that Carvajal going to Swansea, that was a strange one for me. You know, because I don't think
it was all. Yeah,
I don't think it solves the problem at all.
No.
Who would the other one be? David Moyes at West Ham. Well, I think we all know what the situation is with David Moyes. He's there. It's the summertime,
and then we'll see what happens.
And then he'll be sacked,
probably, which would be kind of harsh because I mean you can't argue he's done decently for them since he's been there. Because under Bilic it wasn't going well.
That was a players' issue, though.
Probably was, yeah.
The players were lazy at West Ham,
yeah,
and I think there was there's a thing they say in the psychology is that once you introduce contempt into a relationship, it's finished.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what happened at West Ham. I think the players began to be contemptuous of Slaven Bilic, and Slaven Bilic, you know, was just such a nice man. He tried, but it wasn't happening.
It wasn't going to happen. No.
And I think that there was, you know, it's a strange dynamic, West Ham, isn't it, really? Because you see, you get West Ham fans say, we want football played a particular way. Well, I'm sorry, but West Ham don't spend that kind of money to play football that way.
If
West
you want
Ham,
European football as well, and they don't spend enough money to do that. You got to go another way.
West Ham won the World Cup. I mean, I think that's a reasonable claim. It's been claimed to me from West Ham fans. West Ham won the World Cup.
I'd never heard that before.
Haven't you?
No, I hadn't heard that before.
Well, West Ham won the World Cup apparently.
Oh, really?
Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst, Martin Peters. That's just how it is. Jimmy Greaves. So, they want to play that silky passing move football. They don't have the players and they don't have the money to buy the players that play that kind of football.
Compete at that level, no.
So what they need to understand is what they are, and I think that's the problem with West Ham is that they don't like what they are, and they haven't made
what they need to do to get the results.
Well, exactly. So they'll survive, but it won't be by hellish much.
No, it won't be by pretty football.
And I think that because of that, David Moyes might well be a casualty.
True. Which would be, however, if he keeps West Ham up and, if they get upper mid-table, if they end up like 11th or 12th or 10th or something, then he's restored, he's got some of his reputation back. I mean, I know it's in the gutter and it wouldn't take much, but...
But I think that 11th, 10th, 12th, I think you're looking at an East End nosebleed there. And I
mean, they're in 12th at the moment.
Well... I just think that's because there's a lot of poor sides down there.
Well, yeah, true, but, you can only beat what's in front of you, Buzzing.
No, you're absolutely right. So I would think that West Ham will end up maybe 14th, 15th.
Possibly, yeah.
It might be a
realistic position. Anyway, to kind of go down the league and talk about kind of each section of it, I suppose we should talk about the team in the section of themselves, which is Manchester City, which is champions-elect, for lack of a better word. Because there's no way anyone's catching them. They've just been immense this season.
They have
absolutely devastating. When you can take a team, I mean, last weekend they took Leicester apart, and Leicester's not a bad team.
Yeah, a good side.
They're a good, decent side, and Man City just took them apart like it was no bother. And
it wasn't a bother, to be fair.
No.
Should have just said, well, but this week it's Leicester, just same as you were.
And I think for me, I know there's a long way to go, but if player of the year in the Premier League is not Kevin De Bruyne, I'll be astonished. Because he is at the heart of everything Manchester City do well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Stepped up another couple of levels, just a terrific. And as we said in the first half, just sees passes for me that other people don't see. And not only can he see them, he's got the pass to pull it off as well,
Yeah, it's just such a beautiful striker of a ball.
Aye, scores goals as well.
I mean, and it's not kind of tap ins at the back post. It's 30 yarders.
No, exactly.
Corner, I mean, like we were saying, when you consider that he was £58 million, and when that happened in 2015, I think it was, people. Yeah. I remember us on 50. This is an outrage.
A lot of money. Yeah, we thought at the time. Yeah,
we thought at the time a lot of money. Now it's considered tea money.
No, it's nothing. Yeah,
exactly, and yeah, exactly. Well, you look at him and Sterling. Sterling was £49 million, and we'd said at the time on this show as well, and people can go back and check.
Massive money, yeah.
Just mad money. But
I mean, to be fair, until this season we were right.
Yeah. It's just this season's blown it all out the water.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
he's stepped up, and he can tell he's improved under Guardiola without immeasurably. He's got a final ball. He has a final product. He's making better decisions. He still does daft things. He's not there all the way. He still makes wrong decisions and still misses sitters occasionally. But he's a far better player than he was last season again. Definitely stepped up. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in the World Cup with Belgium, and how well they do when you've got a player like that.
The team of individuals
to make that clear. Well, we said that. Well, what was it? Euros
2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly 2 years ago, and so it'll be interesting to see. But I mean, De Bruyne, I just think fantastic.
Yeah.
He's got, and his first touch is absolutely superb. His first touch take out 2 players. Second touch is a pass that takes out 4 defenders, and suddenly you find that his strikers are one-on-one with the keeper, and in the next place the keeper's bending down to pick it at the back of the net. I mean, it's just, I don't know. You imagine what it must be like to support a team like Man City and and ability to watch that every week. You just get fed up, wouldn't you? You'd stop.
I'd like to think I could cope with it for a while.
You stop because you think, what can I complain about? Yeah.
No, exactly. People will complain though. So I think next section is the section where it's 5-3 with Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, and Arsenal. Only three of them.
You put on that.
Well, for your sake, Boswell, more than anything.
Kind man.
Such a kind guy, even though you're 7 points adrift of Spurs, but. Yeah, it's 3 into.
Sorry, you're breaking up there.
Yeah. It's 5-3. So who do you think the 3 are for you?
Chelsea, Tottenham, and Liverpool.
Oh, you think Man U will drop back?
Yeah, I think it's because I think, as you say, it's Man U are really a strange side this season, and I think it's the Jose factor, because he's not well liked within the Man United support. I think I hear today there's problems with Paul Pogba.
Apparently, yep.
He's had problems with Luke Shaw, and these problems haven't been private; they've been public. You know, last season he threw Luke Shaw under the bus.
Yes,
for his own end.
True. Yeah.
And I think that he did the same with Smalling. He's done the same with Rob what's his name?
Phil Jones.
Phil Jones, the centre half.
To be fair, he does score spectacular own goals. So but he does bring it on himself.
Yeah, Man U had always a great tradition of top class rubbish centre backs. John O'Shea and Wes
Brown
to witness to. The Pogba business, I think, will come back and bite him seriously because of the level of investment. I don't think Lukaku's scored the level of goals that he should have done in a team like that. And I
don't think he's played badly.
No, he's not played badly, but I think
that's the trouble with a price tag like that. It puts a hell of a lot of pressure on. Even though he's got, I think, 20 goals this season. In all comps, it's judged as not enough, and you're like, well, how much more has he got? I suppose it's the big game mentality, isn't it?
Well, it's the other thing.
He's not scored many of the big games.
The other thing for me is they go up to Newcastle and they get beat 1-0.
Yeah,
that's unacceptable. For Man U to have spent the money they've spent and to go up to a team that is effectively the Championship in the Premier League and come away getting beaten 1-0, utterly unacceptable. And a player like that, for me, should be going up there and saying, I'll help myself to a nice wee double today. Because I don't think that Newcastle defence are worth anything at all. They're the worst. They're easily the worst team in the Premier League, man for man, with any other team. I think there's nothing in that Newcastle team, and how they're not set adrift in the Premiership is beyond me. And so for a team like Man United, for the personnel they've got, and everything behind that club, to go up there and get turned over 1-0 is unacceptable.
Yeah, it wasn't a good result. Saying that, I'll go over my 3. I think Man U, depending how all this Pogba stuff plays out, I think they've still got enough to finish in the top 4. I would go with Spurs on the basis of form, and then I've got to choose between Liverpool and Chelsea.
Only one choice there, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, it's Chelsea if I'm really forced to pick, but I don't do it with a great deal of confidence. I only do this because, as we discussed earlier, Liverpool have the flaky performance in them, but at the moment of the season, so did Chelsea. Witness Bournemouth at home. But
Watford as well.
Watford as well. I mean, but if they get Hazard and Willian start playing the way they played last week, if Giroud, and I didn't think I'd be saying that 6 months ago, can do a job for us with Morata, and they can actually get the midfield working, actually pick the right defenders, i.e. ones that can actually defend, then they can pull enough results together that they can stay in the top four. And plus, I have a strong suspicion after the last 16 is done, they won't have European football to worry about. Unlike Liverpool and Man United and Spurs.
Yeah. I was going to say, there was the big thing in the summertime. Did Chelsea buy Lukaku or Morata?
Yeah, that was the big thing at the time, yeah.
Now, I always thought that Morata was the much better player, more intelligent, better movement. You know, when you got a much more.
I was quite pleased when they signed Morata.
Yeah, I thought he's a much more cerebral player. You know, he's much more intelligent.
I like him, yeah.
And when you compare him to Lukaku, what you were getting was, in my opinion, a big raw boy that's just a goal scorer, and he couldn't do anything. He couldn't do the things that Morata could do, like bring players into play. Play with his back to goal, but also play facing the goal as well.
Yeah, it's important that the front man Chelsea does that the way they play.
And I don't think Lukaku can do that. Pardon me. I think he can chase a ball down, and I think he's good at corner kicks and free kicks, set plays, balls into the box. He's a good player. He's quite lucky as well.
Yeah.
But I just thought Morata was the much more intelligent buy.
Better all-round player. Yeah.
I thought so, and I think he's been a big disappointment.
To settle.
Yeah,
I think we've seen he's happy. It's what happens to them. It happens to some people first season in England is they just struggle to settle, and this Chelsea not been great at points this season, and they've struggled to put a side together. He's had a couple of injuries as well. I think I'll maybe judge him more on the basis of next season, if he still struggles the same way. But
if he's there.
If he's there, I mean, it's Chelsea. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, because I mean,
I think you can see the difference between. I mean, even in the brief time he's been about, and we'll probably touch on the transfer business that's involved all these clubs now. But when the way Giroud's come in, Giroud's a guy who's experienced with the Premier League, knows what he's doing, knows what's required, and you could see it. I know West Brom's a basket case, but you could see it in the game against West Brom. He just knew where to be. Knew where to put his body, knew where to lay the ball off, and it's those little things I think Morata's maybe got to get, which might come with another year.
That thing about Giroud, see Giroud at another club, he would have been properly valued, but at Arsenal he was never valued, and with the result he's taken this same lack of value, lack of self-esteem to Chelsea, and so people are starting to judge him the same way at Chelsea as they judged him at Arsenal. And I think it's very unfair because the amount of times last season that guy came on with Arsenal either 1-0 down or 1-1 and got us the points.
Yeah, it was
unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Given our allegiances, I will let you in. I was very, very pleased when they signed Giroud from Arsenal. I was very pleased. I thought it was a terrific bit of business. Batshuayi wasn't doing. I mean, Batshuayi.
He couldn't do the same thing.
He couldn't get a game.
He can't do the same things as Giroud does.
I thought Giroud was perfectly suited for Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely. The way they play, it's that because he's the type of player that Costa was. He's that back to goal. He's awkward. He's objectionable. You know, he's not. You can't play him like a normal striker because he's got such great movement, such great height and power in the air.
Very good in the air, yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And off the back of that, your lot also did a bit of business with Man United and swapped Alexis Sanchez for Mkhitaryan.
You know, I think we've got the best of the deal. I really do. Alexis Sanchez had become difficult to deal with.
The relationship had gone.
He should have been sold in the summertime, but that was Arsene Wenger's arrogance that caused that. We should have just said, look, go away, let's take the 60 million and let's be and that. Well, you know, we've got a deficit of £5 million on Lacazette, and I think we've got a player that actually wants to be where he is.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, instead of that, we get this arrogant nonsense from Arsene. You know, he's not going. Well, he might go, but I'm the one that says so.
I'm surprised Sanchez doesn't really turn up the entire first half of the year.
Yeah, absolutely right. You know, you could have put the bloody kettle on for that. He didn't turn up. He never bothered. any time. It was just a waste of space. And of course, that permeates through the dressing room. And then there becomes bad feeling within the squad, and the support don't like it. And I'm sorry, I just felt that it was a bad move not to sell him. Really bad move. But of course, you see, Arsene is under pressure, and it's about him. He's turned into Mourinho, Arsene Wenger, I think, because because it's about him.
Yeah.
So I just think it's about time that he had gone as well, because when I saw the Swansea result at the turn of the year, or just before the turn of the year, I thought, that's a result born of familiarity. Because under a new manager at Arsenal, that does not happen. Under people who care, that doesn't happen. And of course, when he says, I love the club, I'm sorry, I don't believe you. If you'd loved the club, you would have left 3 years ago.
Yeah, there's certainly some of that. I'm interested to know what your thoughts, being the Arsenal man, on the Aubameyang business.
I think it's a great bit of business. I really do. I think it's a great bit of business. He looks as if he's up for it. And of course, we had spoken about him about this time last year.
Yes,
he was doing really well, and he said he wanted to go to Real Madrid.
Yeah, and there was a heavy rumour in the summer that PSG were after him before they got Mbappe.
Mbappe, that's right. Yeah, so good luck with the Real Madrid thing, mate.
Yeah, I thought in one sense it was a cracking bit of business for Arsenal, because obviously he'd been linked with due respect, bigger European clubs than Arsenal.
Absolutely, yes.
And I'm surprised he settled for Arsenal, because I thought if he'd have hung on to the summer, he might have got a better club than Arsenal, but that's just my opinion. Maybe it wouldn't have happened. And Dortmund were happy to take the money now, and that was just it. The one bit where it doesn't make much sense for me, and maybe you can tie me in on this, is how does it work with him and Lacazette now, assuming when they're both fit?
Well, that Lacazette's not been fit, so it'll be interesting to see. Because
I both want to play in the same position.
Yeah, and I think that Aubameyang essentially is a retread of Giroud. I don't think there's much. They score different types of goals, but essentially it's that same physicality within the game. So you've got Aubameyang can do the things that Giroud does, but he can also do other things. And so, as I say, kind of retreads maybe a bit unfair. I think that he has qualities that make him an upgrade, but not necessarily a complete departure from what was there before.
Yeah, I think that's fair, yeah.
Because I like the goals he scored. He scored. He's
certainly got pace Giroud doesn't have.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can stick him over the top, he'll score goals running onto a ball or taking a pass. And as we say, that's not that wasn't Giroud's game. Giroud's game was a 6-yard box, 12 yards out, header from a corner, from a free kick, that sort of thing. Aubameyang's got a wee bit more about him, a wee bit more football about him, other than just being a big target guy.
Yeah,
wee bit more football. But how he'll play with Lacazette, see, Lacazette's this kind of touch player. But you see, I always looked at Lacazette and thought, it's a really good buy, because that was another purchase that had been mooted for. Well, we'd been talking about it for 18
years.
Months.
Yeah, I know. We both liked Lacazette. I thought they'd done a great bit of business when they actually went and got Lacazette in the summer.
Well, we thought it was going to PSG. Just the end of the season, remember
that as well. There was the rumour he was also going to go to Atletico Madrid.
That's right. But
then they got the transfer ban and they couldn't sell Griezmann and they couldn't buy him. That got canned and he ended up going to Arsenal.
He ended up at Arsenal by default.
Yeah,
he got a wrong turn in somewhere. Turn left at Spain. So I don't know. The Mkhitaryan signing, as I say, I think we've got the best of that.
Certainly in the short term, I think, definitely.
Because they said that the value for that transfer was £20 million. Well, I think if we've got Mkhitaryan for £20 million, I think we've got an absolute steal.
That's a good bit. It will certainly suit. I think he'll suit the way Arsenal play far better than Man United.
If they play him that role, midfield, middle to front, coming in at the
like he did when he was good at Dortmund,
when he was at Dortmund and when he was at Shakhtar as well.
Yes.
I think they've got a player. But I think see, this depends what Arsene does. He might just stick him at left back and be done with it.
I mean, who knows? Yeah.
So
this is
I don't know.
After all.
Yeah, I think Arsenal's the business that was done at Arsenal has been not bad over the piece.
All those. It's all up front again, isn't it? It's no defender, no midfielder.
There's no defenders, no holding midfielder, and that's, I think, what Arsenal. But of course, come the summer when there's, I think, 15 players out of contract at the same time. Yeah, it's just, I mean, you could make it up. You couldn't make it up. But no.
Yeah, probably sixth again.
Yeah, well, sixth, seventh. It's going to be something like that, but it's not going to be. It's not going to be Champions League. Absolutely. No. I'll tell you, if it's Champions League, if it's Champions League, there'll be another earthquake in Wales.
Probably. Next, so far on the table, you've then got this season's overachievers, Burnley, who I think we've both mentioned we're both big fans of here, how they've conducted themselves. They're there in seventh, only scoring 21 goals. That's remarkable. They've only conceded 24. I mean, they're up there in seventh. That's unbelievable. And just behind them are Leicester, who again are doing it. Leicester. I mean, I know they won the title, a couple of years back, but they really have established themselves as a solid Premier League team.
10,
yeah,
top 10. Yeah.
And Vardy's still banging in goals.
I scored a cracker yesterday. Was it Friday night?
Friday night against Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield United.
Goal.
Sorry, yeah.
Lovely goal. But we were going to talk about Riyad Mahrez, and I think that he's shown, I'm not happy about how that happened. If Man City don't meet Leicester's evaluation, they've got every right to knock that back, and the player and his agent surely must understand that. They're not in the business there of pleasing a player that wants to leave. Absolutely not. And so I think the only legitimate thing that Riyad Mahrez could have done was come back, and he should be apologising to his teammates for taking a huff like a 6-year-old.
Yeah, I imagine he has, because it seems to be, it seemed certainly on Friday night.
For Vardy's header.
Yeah, it seems certainly on Friday night it all seems to be quite cordial and it all seems to have worked out. But
well, I'm glad about that, because
maybe they just know how Mahrez is, and it's just like, it's just Mahrez being Mahrez again. Don't worry about it.
Firstly, the same problem when they had Ulloa before he was meant to be going, and there was a lot of things said in the public domain that shouldn't have been said. And of course, he finds himself down at Brighton on loan, and probably going to end up there. But
I would have thought so.
I mean, I think who's the guy in Ndidi that they've brought in?
Wilfred Ndidi at Leicester, good player there.
£500,000 from French second division
good
football.
Scouting again for them.
Absolutely,
real good scouting from them. I don't know who they've got doing it, but he's doing a cracking job.
Well, didn't he have the guy Andy King do it? And where is it? Where's he's gone now? Everton.
I think so.
Yeah, he's
remember
gone
correctly.
To Everton. Yeah, I think he's gone to Everton. But I mean, it's just. As I say, I think it was 500,000. There's a guy that will be at Leicester for 2 years, and they'll sell him for 25-30 million. And so it's that sort of thing that keeps it ticking over. But of course, the wage bills these days are just utterly horrendous.
Another point I'll make on Leicester: Harry Maguire's developing into a rather nice centre half at Leicester. Well, has to be said.
Did not we say this on this very programme when he was at Hull? I know when he was at Sheffield United.
No, you mentioned him when he was at Sheffield United. That's right, yeah.
So I must take the full credit for Harry Maguire. Yeah, because I watched him when he was in League One with Sheffield United, and then they got promotion through the playoffs that year, and he'd gone to Hull. And he was absolutely fantastic at Hull. And I think I watched him on Friday night, and I thought he was absolutely fantastic for Leicester City. He got a block in the second half, and it was just throw your you think there's a but
proper he'll go throw your body in it challenge.
He'll go to the World Cup this year. He'll go to the World Cup this summer. He will, definitely, because think
Gareth Southgate, don't count your chickens, mate.
Yeah, anything could happen. But no, if things are the way they are and the way they should be, he will go to the World Cup, because I think by a country mile, he's the most improved defender in the English Premier League. That's English.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, I think he should. I think he certainly should be in the squad. without a doubt. Whether he really gets in the squad, who knows. Then you've got Everton in 9th, who've recovered from their dire start under Koeman, now recovered under Sam Allardyce. And Theo Walcott's there now, which is nice for him.
And he's scoring goals.
And he's scoring goals. So fascinating what happens when you play someone.
Listen, that'll stop. Trust me. That is not a permanent. That will stop. Trust me. You know,
purely temporary measure. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, Theo Walcott, calm down and stop scoring. That's what Theo Walcott's got in his cup.
Yeah, but then to balance that out, that good signing, he also signed Mangala so they can concede some goals. That's just not a good bit of business. You know, see his debut, if you want any evidence of that. That was the debut from hell, pretty much. In 10th, we've got Bournemouth doing solid work again under Eddie Howe. Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. You know, he bought one of our favourites, Nathan Ake. And I think he's such an improved player as well.
Yeah,
he bought him on a permanent. £25 million.
I was quite gutted about that. And I was gutted Chelsea never hung on to him.
Well, we both liked him when he was at Bournemouth on loan the first part of last season, and we thought he was a player.
Yeah, definitely.
Enough, he's turned into being a right good player. They've just got such such great players there at Bournemouth at that level.
Callum Wilson back again.
Oh yeah, Callum Wilson. You've got is it Josh King?
Josh King, who's really tidy player. Yeah.
Charlie Daniels, Cook, who's the captain.
Yep.
And they bought a new keeper, didn't they?
Begovic
from Liverpool. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Chelsea.
Yeah. Well, hadn't he been at Liverpool, Begovic, or was it? No, he was at Stoke, wasn't he?
No, Stoke, and then went to Chelsea.
Chelsea, yeah.
Note as well for now current Scotland manager. Thank Christ. Alec McLeish. Ryan Fraser. Scott playing in Premier League should automatically be in Scotland squad. No ifs, no ands, no buts. Should automatically be in Scotland squad. If he's getting the game every week in the Premier League, he's good enough to play for Scotland. End of conversation.
Yeah, I mean, you see things like that and you think, well, Charlie Adam would probably come into that category as well, wouldn't you, really?
Well, I mean, there's exceptions to every rule, mate.
I know you're a big Charlie Adam.
I mean, if you want free kicks and set pieces in a midfield that doesn't move much, then go get Charlie Adam. But if you want a midfield that wants to do some actual moving, then don't get Charlie Adam. Just this guy's opinion. I know he's got fans. Don't get me wrong.
No. But you need to understand about that is that it's about horses for courses, and he's better than what's there.
True. That's true. I won't deny.
I'd say he was a player.
No. That won't deny. That's a very good point you make. That's a fair point.
But I know what you mean. Yeah, if you want somebody to hit a ball for 40 yards, you're Charlie Adams or man.
Yeah.
But no, I think that Bournemouth really, and then of course there's the Watford that we were talking about as well.
Yeah. Regardless of who the manager is, pretty much always in the same place.
Yeah,
middle of the table doesn't matter.
We both agree the player to watch out for is Richarlison.
Yeah,
it's just
and a slight hat tip to Decore, who I don't think will be there long either.
No, but they'll go. They're I think that someone had said that their model was no matter what happens, the manager will change, and it astonished me why they made such a fuss about.
Because Marco Silva was going to get him.
Yeah. Everton had met their buyout clause of £10 million, and suddenly I think it was 10 games after that he gets the sack, and you think, well, you could have taken that money
and got the guy you got anyway.
Exactly, but sometimes you just really wonder about the mentality of even the intelligent part of football. And I just thought it was bizarre. But it's going to change every summer. Apparently, this is the model, they say. It doesn't really matter, because if they can have that turnover of players, and of course, I think we'd also flagged up before, it's a family-owned business.
Yes.
And that doesn't help.
Clubs, not just Watford.
Exactly. Yeah, I think Udinese's part of that as well.
Udinese is one of them. There's one in Spain. There's, I think, one in Denmark as well, if I remember correctly. So
It's and see, I thought you couldn't do that anymore because of
there's ways around the old rules, Boswell.
Yeah.
To get your
I'm just being naive and stupid. So.
Yeah. You think they much rather care about bad sponsorship rather than people owning too many clubs. Don't worry about that. Yeah. West Ham in 12th we've already discussed. Rafa doing, I think, nothing short of miracles at Newcastle in 13th.
Yeah.
I know he gets a bit of a bad rap, the fat Spanish waiter, but
I can't think why.
Because he looks like a fat Spanish waiter.
No. I think
I'm being harsh. I'm being facetious. He's done a really good job at Newcastle, and if he actually got some backing, he could actually do some pretty good stuff with them. But
if you
till the takeover settled there, I don't think anything's going to happen.
Well, exactly. It's and I think it might happen too late.
Yeah, it might be too late for this year. That's true. Yeah. But no, on you go, mate. Sorry.
You've got the Stoke City thing. I mean, Stoke City.
Yeah, well, he signed Mr. Personality as a manager, so see them rocketing up the league soon.
Well, I mean, I was just so chuffed to see Coventry City turn them over in the FA Cup. I mean, I just thought that was so funny.
That was good.
It was.
I'll give it that. It was good. 14th are Brighton, doing a pretty decent job, it has to be said. I thought Brighton would be struggling the entire season to even get a good amount of points, but they've done a not bad job.
I think he's doing a great job, I think I said to you last season that Tony Bloom had spent £700 million to do that.
Yeah,
of its own money.
Yeah,
imagine having that amount of money to do that.
I know. They've had some good wins. And they bought
that boy from PSV as well, who looked a player.
Oh, what's his name? Scored at the weekend. This weekend, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a good player. He'll do some good business for them. They got Joe back on loan at the moment from Leicester as well, so they've certainly improved up front to go with a pretty stodgy defence, it has to be said, that they've had so far this year.
And also
Glenn
Murray's there, so they're bound to do it really, really well because he's Mr. Bright, isn't he, Glenn Murray?
Careful now.
he's always there, Mr. Brighton.
Yeah. Palace in 15th under Roy, who after a disastrous start, I think that kind of all depends on the fitness of Wilfried Zaha, to be honest, whether they actually stay up or not.
And the competence of Benteke to be a striker.
An actual striker, yeah, rather than, whatever he's been trying to do recently. How would you spend £27 million? Mind you, I suppose £27 million bargain basement these days, isn't it? Really? Yeah, it's a bit, isn't it? Yeah.
You get what you pay for. What was it? It was Fox that said to me, "What do you get for £500,000?"
Not a lot.
No, you don't know.
Not a lot.
So I think the Benteke there, his aberration just a couple of weeks ago when he took the penalty and he wasn't meant to take the penalty and they ultimately lost the game because of it. You think, talk about communication breakdown. That's just unacceptable.
Unbelievable. Last team we'll probably talk about because we should end the show now. We're just after 10. And Huddersfield, we should mention a brief word on, again, doing... I mean, the fact that they're still in the shout with staying up is, again, good work for them and their manager, David Wagner.
That was something I wanted to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. The VAR from Friday night.
From the weekend,
that was just an absolute mess.
Yeah, that was a mess. I've got my own thoughts on it, but again, I'll save it for another show.
Yeah,
because I think the way that I'll just say the highlight sentence. I think the way football has initiated it has been nothing short of farcical, and they've done it completely wrong. So
it's as usual.
I'll get into that later.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't think it's been properly invoked at all, and I think that there's not enough control, there's not enough rules, and it's been allowed to just grow legs, and it's not been properly controlled. But as you say, we'll maybe talk about that next week.
Yeah,
but I think we've run out of rope now.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that's us for first show back for it feels like ages.
Yep.
So quick shout out, Boswell, before we go.
Yeah, good to be back again. Good to be well again. And I didn't realise I enjoyed being well as much as I do. No, it's been busy, but it's nice being back talking about European football again. And hope you join us all next week for maybe doing the same sort of thing.
Yeah, again, we'll be back next week again addressing the European fixtures going in midweek and talking about the European games that happen next weekend. So we'll be back same time, same place next week. Thanks once again to Fox and his wide and talented technical team for putting this on again. We'd just be two guys talking over Skype if it wasn't for them, to be honest.
Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that though. But,
no, it would be exactly the same, to be honest, with just nobody listening. So thanks again for joining us. We'll be back next week. And it's been great to be back. And always remember, we are the people, and you can play us out.